Hello, and you're listening to Week 11 of Oneness Project Light One-on-One with Israel Kelly. I'm your host, Cassandra. For those of you that are new, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Our purpose for each episode is to enhance your understanding of life, the universe, and the world around us by exploring a specific topic more in depth through the eyes of Source. As many of you know, Israel Kelly is fully coalesced with Source energy and has been granted with the universal knowing. He is here to bring messages of love to humanity and facilitate all of us with the expansion of our consciousness. In last week's episode, Israel wanted to give me a chance to shine by allowing me to speak to you guys about a topic of my choice. I selected the law of attraction, and with the use of the emotional guidance scale for reference, I described how our emotions and thoughts play an important role when it comes to raising our vibrations and manifesting our desires. If any of you would like a copy of the emotional guidance scale, a PDF version is available for download on Israel's Facebook group, Non-Physical Consciousness, under the Files tab. If you are not on Facebook, you may send me an email at namaste.weareone@yahoo.ca, and I will send you a copy. I just want to say a big thank you to my 15-year-old son, Alexander, who created and designed it for me. I thought he did an amazing job. Tonight, we will discuss the topic of illness, and here is Israel Kelly now. Hello, Israel.
Thank you for having me, Cassandra. I'm very glad to be here. However, Cassandra, before we go too deep into the topic of illness, we need to understand who we are. All of us, the entire humanity. We are non-physical energy now occupying physicality and a body. And we are eternal, we're infinite, we are divine. We are here on earth to have a human experience. And a human experience includes everything. We came into physical form, all of us, many occasions. So we went through all type of sickness, all type of situations, and we were this and we were that. We were the doctor, we were the patient, we were the police officer, we were the prosecutor, we were the criminal. We were all expression of the experience, and we did that for the evolution. We did that for the expansion of consciousness, and we need to understand that when we come into physical form, the essence of life of who we are comes in for the experience. It doesn't come in just to have a comfortable life. It comes for the expansion. It comes for the contrast, and the contrast include everything, and that that includes illness, that includes the struggles that we understand as humans. However, if we connect with the larger part of who we are, if we connect with that essence of life, that eternal, infinite essence of life, we will be able to understand our reality better, cope with our reality better, understand that our reality is not as real as we think it is. Understand that we do not die, but we do a transition in between physical to non-physical, and that's the essence of who we are. To understand illness or to understand any difficult situation, we will have to remember that we're here for the purpose of creating a new reality, a new experience, to invent, reinvent, co-create ourselves anew every time we come in. The more and more we talk about this illness topic, the more complicated it gets, because we're talking about a topic that harms many people, family members, husband, wife, and children, and so on. However, if you see things in a different perspective, let's say you have your son, all right? He's 13, 14 years old, and then he go to school, he finishes college, and so on. He becomes a doctor, and he's able to help people. Just think about, make a mental image of how proud you'll feel when you know this doctor saved a life and is able to cure a person and so on, and is able to heal, and is there, and upon unconditional love, a new reality is created. If illness was not part of the equation, you were not, or humans would not be able to experience the successful experience of getting something out of praying, meditating, believing, hoping, having faith in God, and all that. So everything has a master plan. Everything has a purpose behind it. Families get more united whenever there's a family member that is going through things. Love go to all the way to the top. Feelings get involved. It's tender. Compassion growth. There's many things involved in that experience of illness. It is a negative experience. However, there's many people that surround that reality that they are affected and they have the benefits of the expansion of themselves as they able to grow emotionally because of this illness. The support we have people walking for AIDS and for cancer and for all that support, all that showing compassion, all that showing unconditional love, all that wasn't able to assist if illness wasn't part of the human reality.
Absolutely, Israel. For those of you who are becoming experts in the law of attraction, you may already know the answers regarding illness, but nevertheless, this will be a good review for you. And for you novice creators listening in, this will be great information to get you started on how to take control of your health and realize that nothing happens to you. You create everything in your reality. So let's begin. Israel, can you tell us, where does illness come from?
Yes, Cassandra. Illness, like everything else on time space, it comes from the same place, which is thought form. Illness, sickness, negative vibration creates the same way we manifest our wanting, our wishes by vibrating positive. When we vibrate negative, we create thought form that they become part of our reality, and that's where the illness comes from.
That's great. Thank you, Israel. Why do we get sick?
We do get sick when we are in misalignment, when we are not vibrating positive, when we are out of the vortex, when we don't keep the consistency, when we are not positive, when we are not able to keep a vibration that keeps those bad things, that bad experience out of our um, life, our daily routine. Um, it could be avoided if we understand that whatever we think it becomes. Um, Again, illness is a very sensitive issue because we have family members, we have friends that we love, and people. And every time we are dealing with somebody who has illness or is going through a difficult situation, the person or the family members they have difficulties understanding that what is creating this reality is the way they see, they perceive that illness. The more they repeat themselves how horrible is their situation, the more they concentrate on how sick they are, the more they talk about the topic of being sick and the consequences and thinking that they will die from that, the deeper it goes into more and more negative and more bad consequences from that specific case. So we get sick. We get sick because we humans we have the tendency to be negative, and as the collective produces um, a reality, as we are able to by thinking a way as a collective, we create our thoughts. They become things, and that's where we get sick. That's where we get sick from.
Thank you, Israel. Is there a purpose for sickness?
Yes, Cassandra, the human experience is very diverse. It needs everything. It needs the up and down, the left and right. It needs anything that will help a human understand the essence of life and value, cherish that, feel grateful about life, feel grateful about health. If illness or that opposite negative um, polarity of things did not exist, we were not able to value our existence on earth, our this experience of the life. So illness is part of the creation, is part of the experience, the human experience.
Okay, that's great. Now, what about terminal illness such as cancer? How come some are able to overcome this disease and some are not?
Yeah, that's a very good question about cancer and why some people are able to overcome while um, many others are not able to. Besides being coalesced with source energy, fully coalesced with source energy, and having the knowing, as a human, I'm able to identify, I'm able to connect with people in suffering about cancer. When I was 4 or 5 years old, my grandmother was in a bed and she died from bone cancer. And recently, last year, a very close family member, very close to me, was going through cancer, and it was pretty devastating for the whole family. And now it's an experience that is in the past, and everybody understood the value of life and see life differently. And this person now is completely healed and all that. So not all the illness experience is bad, and if the person is able to keep himself herself positive, this experience will go away, will substitute for a different experience that it is a result to keep yourself vibrating positive.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us, Israel. Are all illnesses caused the same way?
There's not really one thing that makes this experience, this reality about illness. Illness comes from many different directions, from the state of mind, from the collective, from the experience. There's many things that influence that reality. So it's not that it's coming just from one thing, but it's produced by many different um, way to think and positions and realities and thoughts that become thought form. Besides the experience we need to go through, and the collective, as we have the media talking all the time about illness, about difficult situations around the world. So those thoughts they spread around. We start thinking that we might get something and so on. So illness doesn't. The creation, the experience, the reality of illness is not coming from one thing, but from many different directions.
That's great. Thanks, Israel. Is there a difference between a virus that is contagious or non contagious?
Well, Cassandra, if you put in your head that by you being in a place in which there's an epidemic or there's kind of illness around, viruses, you're gonna be affected by, then you will be affected by. Contagious or not contagious, viruses or not virus. If you are able to stay in a vortex and keep yourself aligned to a positive vibration and remember who you really are, which is a non-physical energy and a physicality now. Um, and you create your own experience, you create your own reality as you go. You're co-creating here now anything that you want to experience. If you don't want to have a virus part of your experience, don't have a virus part of your experience. It doesn't matter if the virus is contagious or not. If you don't want to experience that, and if you um, have the awareness of be conscious about who you are and what you're doing here, which is creating a reality, having a human experience, you won't be affected by a virus.
Thank you, Israel. Many parents and researchers are discovering the dangerous side effects of vaccines. What is your view on vaccinations, Israel?
Right or wrong, it's a human perception. Vaccination um, it's part of the human reality. We learned that we have viruses and the collective creates so many things. So it's a very personal decision. My kids were vaccinated. I was vaccinated when I was a child and so on. Um, what is my position about vaccination? I mean, it's part of the human reality. If someone feels that needs to be vaccinated, needs to vaccinate their kids. Um, they have the right to do so. And if they want to go through the experience and now vaccinating their kids and thinking positive that nothing's going to happen, if that's what is supposed to happen, that what is supposed to be part of their experience, That's the right thing. If they don't want to do the one in the contrary, they want to do something else. That's the right thing. There's no such a thing as right or wrong. It's just a human perception. You have an opinion about something. I might have a set opinion. I'll have a different opinion. My opinion might be right. Your opinion might be right. Your opinion might be wrong. My opinion might be wrong. It's just a human perception. So a position about what to do or not, what or not to do about the human experience is just depending on how you see it.
As a parent of three healthy children, I would prefer they no longer receive further vaccinations. What can I do to prevent this and keep my children from harm's way? Do I have a choice?
You won't have any problems with your kids, Cassandra. You can rest assured that nothing's going to happen to them. However, the human experience is not only dictated by the way we wish things to do. However, what we need to, the way we need to expand, what we need to go through, the way that the, the things that we need to experience in life, um, to prevent children from harm way. You do exactly what you're doing. You loving them. You taking care of them. They're important in your life. You teaching them to be positive. You're giving them good education, and that will be enough for them to be guarded, for them to be in good hands, for them to be healthy. And you're doing exactly what any other mother or parent will do for their kids, which is unconditional love.
Okay, thank you, Israel. Moving on to question 9. It is believed that Buddha died of old age when he was 80 years old. The death was triggered by his body reacting to a dish of wild mushrooms. He died peacefully and mindfully in the year 483 BC. How can someone like the Buddha, who is enlightened, be affected by simple food poisoning? Isn't it true that one who is in the state of pure love resistant to all things unwanted?
Cassandra, it doesn't really matter if you're enlightened, if you have the knowing, if you, as long as you are in a physical form and you are in time space reality and you are a human. So anything that might happen to another human, it could happen to you as well. However, the more positive you stay, the more focus on the attention of on this vibrating positive in the vault as you are, the more you will prevent negative things to happen to you. It doesn't really matter who you, what you think, how much you know. You're still a human. So things happen to humans. Like I told you, a family member last year, very close, got cancer. I went through a few things this year, and I'm fully coalesced with non-physical. So that nothing happened to me and to the people I love, but material things. Um, my life's changed because of accidents and things, and I'm fully coalesced. So things it doesn't change your reality. The fact that you understand and the consciousness has expanded, and you're able to perceive reality different, and you're always positive. As a human, you still need to go through the experience. That's why I got here for, to experience, to have a human experience, and that includes everything, everything at all.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, being multidimensional and one with source, are you susceptible to catching a disease or virus, or is it your choice?
I will answer that question this way, Cassandra. Am I thinking that I will get sick? No, I am not. Am I thinking that something's going to happen to me and so on? No, I am not. So those thoughts, they're not part of my reality. And if something happens in which I will need to go through um, a human experience, the human experience in which I will span, learn, or understand things in a different perspective, in a wider perspective. I will welcome any type of circumstance that will allow me to expand, and that will include anything. Am I thinking that something's gonna happen to me, or that I will get sick or any of that. Those thoughts, they're not part of my reality. However, I welcome anything that will allow me to expand, will allow me to create, will allow me to understand, will allow me to perceive my human reality in a wider perspective.
Thank you, Israel. Before we say goodbye, do you have any final thoughts you would like to share with us?
Yes, Cassandra, thank you for your great questions. And yes, final thoughts. Let's stay positive no matter what. We're here to create, we're here to have a human experience. Whatever we go through, it depends the way we see it. Things doesn't have a side, but the way we see it big or small. By having a wider perspective on our reality, the way we see things, we're able to observe that reality and create, co-create differently. Let's stay positive. Let's get in the vortex. Let's remember who we are. We are now having a human experience. We're source energy. We are vibrational beings, and we're here to create. We're here to have experience. We're here to reinvent ourselves, co-create, and become. We're here to become, and that includes any experience, any human experience. Let's stay positive. We are blessed to be here. This is something that we wanted to do. We wanted to come into physical form to have a human experience, and this is it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be able to do things as a human, to eat, to sleep, to love. There's so many things that we take for granted. Um, let's help those who are going through illness. Let's be sensitive about illness. Let's try to make them feel positive about their situation so their situation will pass faster. Um, let's don't try to change nobody's perception. Everyone individually, every one of us is having a different experience and have a different perception about realities, have a different way to see life, and we need to respect that. Let's stay positive. Let's create, and that's what we're here for. And it's a privilege to be here, Cassandra.
That's beautiful, Israel. Thank you so much for sharing your divine knowledge with all of us on the topic of illness. It's been an enlightening discussion, and I'm sure many who are listening in have gained a greater awareness and better understanding on how to keep themselves healthy. Until next time, this is Cassandra for Oneness Project Light One-on-One with Israel Kelly. Thanks for listening. Medical disclaimer. The information provided is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read or heard from this recording. Never rely on information from this and all recordings from onenessprojectlight.com in place of seeking professional medical advice. OneIsProjectLight.com, Namaste We Are One production, Israel Kelly, Cassandra, and all affiliates are not responsible or liable for any advice, course of treatment, diagnosis, or any other information, services, or products that you obtain from this video. You are encouraged to consult with your doctor with regard to the information contained in this recording. After reading articles, watching videos, or reading other content from OneIsProjectLight.com, you are encouraged to review the information carefully with your professional healthcare provider.